On July 29, 2025, officers responded to a Macy's in Orlando, Florida, for an employee theft investigation involving a manager who admitted to stealing over $2,000.
No, is that? Inside.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
He's in there. It's hard to say because he's still in the back. He's actually a manager. Yeah, he's a manager. He's been with the company for a while, so he's been conducting refund fraud. Taking merchandise from the floor, returning it, and taking the cash. He's in the back office.
So how long has he been doing this?
From what the statement I'm reading right now, my senior investigator is there with him right now, and he admitted to have been doing it since January, I believe. It's total loss of like $2,000.
2000? And when's the last time he's done it?
I have the paperwork there.
Okay.
I'm just starting to type up the statement right now.
Okay. Alright. So he's just refunding it? Basically,
No proof of purchase, so he's picking up merchandise from the selling floor.
Yeah.
And doing it as a return as no proof of purchase and taking the cash.
He's taking the cash. Okay. Alright, yeah, no, I got it. Last time. Hello.
Do you want me to step out?
Well, we have to talk to, I think, you first or somebody about what's going on.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you talked to somebody.
We did. We just need a little bit more information, all this stuff, and then we can.
Okay. So this is Darmadot. He goes by Ronald.
Okay.
He is a manager here at the store.
Okay.
And I came in to discuss with him today some things that were going on in the store.
Okay.
And that involved him processing some fraudulent returns in order to take the cash. He found himself in a spiraling financial situation.
Okay.
Where he needed cash, and so it's about $2,239.08.
Okay.
And it has happened since this year, starting in January.
January. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you know the most about what's going on?
Daisy is doing the affidavit.
Okay. All right. Are you all done with him? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
I can step out if you would like to.
Yeah. We'll talk to him for a minute. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, boss. So I got to read you your rights.
Yeah.
Your rights, so you know your rights as a person, okay? Before I ask you some questions. You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand?
Yes.
Anything you say may be used against you in court. Do you understand?
Yes.
You have the right to talk to a lawyer before and during questionings. Do you understand?
Yes.
If you cannot afford a lawyer and want one will be provided for you before questioning without charge. Do you understand?
Yes.
Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to talk to me?
No.
Okay. So, what's going on?
We went through a little few issues at home, and I took cash from the store.
Okay, how long have you been doing this for?
In the beginning of the year. Yeah.
What's the beginning?
Probably
time frame.
about January or February.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been doing it for since January till now?
Yeah.
Okay.
How are you doing it exactly? Are you just taking cash to the cash register?
Yeah, I just do a return and you just kept the cash.
Okay. So you would do the return.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And why?
I was going through, there's a lot of financial issues, and I kind of lost my place, and that's it was just a downward spiral. Someone moved out from the house, and then I just poor decision.
I got you. I mean,
and it was wrong, but it was just this or that, the option. So it was a poor decision.
when was the last time you actually did it?
Probably 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Gotcha. How long have you been working here then?
3 years.
So you've been here 3 years?
Been here for a while. Being your manager.
Yeah.
How long have you been a manager? 3 years?
Yeah, because I came from New York, it's a whole different lifestyle.
Okay, I got you. I
just
got
went
you.
through a lot
I
of
got you.
issues. So it
I
was,
got you, man.
it was just, again, poor decision making, so I'm responsible for it.
Where are you living at now?
My Moss Park.
Moss Park? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Give me a second. Let me see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You gave him his ID already? Everything? Okay. Alright. Was it just mostly clothing items that you were doing?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said since January, February time?
Most likely, yeah.
Alright, I'm going to talk to him real quick. You stay here.
What part of New York you from, man?
Queens.
Queens? I used to work in Queens.
Yeah.
I moved down here last year.
Yeah, I moved down many years ago, 4 years, and then just a change and this thing's just got.
Florida's different, man.
Yeah.
I hear you.
What do we got?
Crane theft.
And what else?
Crane theft. With him being an employee.
So what was he doing? I think I like fraud, but what charges are they?
Fraud.
Scheme to the fraud.
Scheme to the fraud?
Yes.
Okay.
So how do you look at that statute? We're going to charge both. Usually only the grand theft under sticks.
Okay.
So we're still charge both. Because I mean it's scheming and he's defrauding the company.
Gotcha.
He's done it multiple times.
Okay.
So
So
we're moving the car for now and we're going to proceed.
okay. I hold on to this, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Demar, could you do me a favor and just stand up for me?
Okay.
You have your car? I'm assuming you have your car here?
Yeah.
Okay.
This key that's on the chair, is that yours or the company's?
Mine.
Oh,
Can I just put it in?
We'll grab it.
We got to take everything out of your pockets anyway. Alright. So right now, we are being placed under arrest. That's me for grand theft and also committing the fraud. Okay. Macy, they do want to press charges on. Okay. This is your phone?
Yeah.
I'll come with you also.
Okay.
Do you have any cash on you or anything like that?
No.
So we got the key, your
Yeah.
phone,
Yeah.
and then what's gonna be in your pocket, okay?
Yep.
I better take it.
We got another set of keys right here.
No, you're doing something. It's all right. Come on this way.
Already sent it. Yep. I'll try and knock one.
Do you have anything in your pockets?
Just my wallet? No, I don't know. It's up there.
Separate your legs from me. Separate your.
Hey, where's your car at?
Like I do.
Do you have anybody that can pick up your car?
Yeah.
I'll see if they'll allow it, if they can come pick up your car. So I don't know if it's gonna get towed or not. We'll see what they're gonna do with it. All right? Is that okay? And I'll let you call home. All right, but let me go make sure they're okay with it.
Where's the car parked at? It's a Chevy what?
Is that the tag on it?
Okay, thank you, sir. Let me take a picture. I'll do with security and tell them no.
All right.
And then you're both going to be out tomorrow. Just come by or have someone pick up your car.
Alright, just do me a favor. Just keep looking inside. Just chill.
Hey. All this gotta come out. This gotta come out.
This hole?
Yep, everything.
Yeah, there's a hole in it.
The blazer too?
No, the Blazers jail. Okay, no.
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to let you take this in the jail because it's considered a needle, so. I think the time stuff they'll take out at the gym. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's gonna come out anyway.
I go too far.
He's never. They won't be able to take this to jail either, okay?
Watch your head.
Hey, while we wait for Steven, just start calling me with information.
Yep.
And I'll go to security in the meantime to let them know. Oh, yes, give me the key.
Let's examine the constitutional framework.
This case demonstrates textbook Miranda compliance, proper arrest procedures, and the serious legal consequences of employee theft under Florida law. The subject, a 3-year manager, systematically processed fraudulent returns from January through July, taking cash totaling $2,239. Under Florida Statute Section 812.014, theft of property valued between $750 and $20,000 constitutes grand theft in the 3rd degree. This is a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison, not a misdemeanor shoplifting offense. The officer correctly identified when Miranda warnings became necessary. Under Berkemer versus McCarty, custody depends on whether a reasonable person would feel free to leave. The subject was in a closed room with uniformed officers present. He was clearly in custody, triggering the Miranda requirement. Watch carefully as the officer administers all 5 Miranda warnings. The landmark 1966 case Miranda versus Arizona established these requirements. Right to remain silent. Statements used against you in court. Right to an attorney. Attorney provided if indigent. Voluntary statement confirmation. Each warning protects the Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination. The officer obtained affirmative understanding for every component. The subject then waived these rights and confessed. This waiver was knowing, intelligent, and voluntary under Colorado versus Connolly. No coercion, no promises, no threats. The confession will be admissible in court and makes conviction virtually certain. Notice the officer's interrogation technique. Open-ended questions, active listening, empathy without promises. He builds rapport while maintaining constitutional compliance. The subject admits the pattern, selecting merchandise from the floor, processing it as a return, and pocketing the cash. This occurred over 6 to 7 months. Officers discussed charging both grand theft and scheme to defraud. Under Florida Statute Section 817.034, scheme to defraud criminalizes systematic fraudulent conduct. Grand theft captures the dollar amount. Scheme to defraud captures the pattern and methodology. Dual charging is standard prosecutorial practice in white-collar cases. The officer informs the subject of his arrest. Under Florida Statute Section 901.15, officers may arrest without a warrant when probable cause exists for a felony. Probable cause existed from 3 sources: loss prevention documentation, the subject's admission to store investigators, and his detailed confession to police. The search incident to arrest is authorized under United States versus Robinson, decided in 1973. When a lawful arrest occurs, officers may fully search the arrestee's person. The purposes are officer safety and evidence preservation. Notice the systematic inventory: keys, phone, wallet, all documented. The officer shows professionalism beyond minimum requirements. He discusses vehicle arrangements, explains jail procedures, and offers to let the subject contact someone to avoid towing fees. This balance of enforcement with human dignity reflects evolved policing. Constitutional compliance and professional treatment are not mutually exclusive. From a legal outcome perspective, the subject faces overwhelming evidence. His videotape confession after proper Miranda warnings eliminates any viable defense strategy. For a first-time offender showing remorse, the likely resolution involves a guilty plea to grand theft, dismissal of scheme to defraud, and probation with full restitution. However, the felony conviction remains permanent, affecting future employment in retail, management, or any position involving financial trust. Let's evaluate each party's performance. The responding officer receives a grade of A-. He demonstrated exceptional constitutional knowledge and procedural compliance. Miranda administration was flawless. Interrogation technique was professional. The search was systematic and appropriate. He showed consideration for the subject's dignity. The minor deduction reflects extended casual conversation after obtaining the confession, which prolonged the subject's uncertainty, though this is a refinement rather than a fundamental deficiency. The subject receives a grade of C+. Credit is given for immediate admission, full cooperation during arrest, and acceptance of responsibility. However, the grade reflects serious, sustained criminal conduct over 6 months, systematic betrayal of employer trust, and strategic legal errors in waiving Miranda rights. While cooperation may influence sentencing, speaking to police without an attorney rarely benefits the accused. His confession guaranteed conviction. Financial hardship, while sympathetic, is not a legal defense. He had alternatives: additional employment, financial counseling, creditor negotiation, or family assistance. Macy's loss prevention receives a grade of B+. They successfully detected the pattern, documented evidence, obtained a statement, and coordinated professionally with law enforcement. The grade is not an A because the theft continued for 6 to 7 months before detection. Robust internal controls should have flagged unusual return patterns earlier. A manager processing repeated high-value returns without secondary approval represents a systemic vulnerability that better controls could have prevented or detected sooner. This case offers critical lessons. First, understand your Miranda rights. When police read these warnings, you have no obligation to speak, even if innocent. Anything you say will be used against you, not to help you. The correct response is, I invoke my right to remain silent and want to speak with an attorney. Second, employee theft over $750 is a felony in Florida carrying up to 5 years in prison. This is not minor misconduct. Third, cooperation after being caught may affect sentencing but does not erase liability. A confession makes prosecution easier and conviction nearly certain. Fourth, never speak to police without legal counsel, regardless of guilt or innocence. Exercise your Fifth Amendment right. It exists to protect you. Fifth, financial hardship is understandable, but not a legal justification for theft. Legal remedies exist: bankruptcy protection, payment plans, credit counseling, social services. Sixth, a felony conviction creates a permanent criminal record with collateral consequences affecting employment, housing, professional licensing, and immigration status. Seventh, employers have sophisticated loss prevention systems. Patterns of fraudulent transactions are detectable, and criminal prosecution for employee theft is common and aggressive. Eighth, the short-term relief from theft is vastly outweighed by long-term consequences. Years of probation, restitution payments, and permanent criminal records follow. From a constitutional perspective, this footage demonstrates professional policing. The officer did not cut corners despite obvious guilt. He administered Miranda warnings clearly, obtained proper waivers, and conducted the arrest according to Fourth Amendment standards. This is how constitutional policing operates. The American legal system balances law enforcement authority with individual rights. Miranda warnings, search limitations, and probable cause requirements protect everyone. Even when guilt is apparent, constitutional protections apply. The officer's professionalism honored these principles while effectively investigating the crime. For anyone facing criminal investigation, the lesson is clear. Exercise your right to remain silent, request an attorney immediately, and do not waive constitutional protections. Police can and should conduct professional investigations. You can and should assert your rights. Both can coexist within our constitutional framework. This case involved a manager who made poor choices under financial pressure, resulting in felony charges that will affect him for life. The legal system must balance compassion with accountability. While his cooperation and remorse matter at sentencing, the conviction itself is certain given his videotaped confession. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out our second channel, Audit the Court, for even more police interaction and courtroom content.